Hey guys, this is Brandy. So, just to give you guys a heads up, I'm going to be doing the narration for Most Influential Women from now on. So, yay! so, that aside, join me for, my craziness on Wednesdays and enjoy. This week's most influential woman is Alice Ball. She was an American chemist from 1892 to 1916. That made her 24 years old whenever she passed. That's right, she was very young. Now, before that, she lived such a big life in such a short amount of time. She was born July 24th, 1892, in Seattle, Washington. She was one of 4 kids, 2 brothers and 1 younger sister. They moved from Seattle, Washington to Honolulu in 1903 in hopes that her dad's arthritis pains would be alleviated, but unfortunately, her father died shortly after the move, and then the family relocated back to Seattle. Alice Ball, she excelled at Seattle High School. She graduated in 1910 and then went on to obtain multiple graduate degrees from the University of Washington and then the College of Hawaii. Out of the 237,000 residents in Seattle, when Ball enrolled at the University of Washington, only 2,200 were African American. Now, after earning undergraduate degrees in pharmaceutical chemistry in 1912 and then pharmacy in 1914, she transferred to the College of Hawaii. And then she became the very first African American and then the very first woman to graduate with an MS degree in chemistry in 1915. She was offered a teaching and research position there and became the institution's very first woman chemistry instructor. And she was only 23 years old. As a laboratory researcher, Alice worked extensively to develop a successful treatment for those suffering from Hansen's disease, i.e. leprosy. Her research led her to create the first injectable leprosy treatment using oil from the chalmugra tree, which up until then was only a moderately successful topical agent that was actually used in Chinese and Indian medicine. It's really cool. Now, leprosy, also known as Hansen's disease, is a very devastating, highly stigmatized bacterial infection. Now, Alex successfully isolated the oil into fatty acid components of different molecular weights. It allowed her to manipulate the oil into a water-soluble injectable form. Now, what this did is it means that her scientific rigor resulted in a highly successful method to alleviate leprosy symptoms, later known as the Ball method, that was used on thousands of infected individuals for over 30 years until sulfone drugs were introduced. The Ball method was so successful, leprosy patients were discharged from hospitals and facilities across the globe, including from Kalaupapa, an isolation facility on the north shore of Molokai, Hawaii, where thousands of people suffering from leprosy died in years prior. Thanks to Alice Ball, these banished individuals could now return to their families, free once and for all from the symptoms of leprosy. That's amazing. Now, unfortunately, tragically, she died on December 31st, 1916, at the young age of 24, after complications resulting from inhaling chlorine gas in a lab teaching accident. Now, during her brief lifetime, she did not get to see the full impact of her discovery. What's more, following her death, the president of the College of Hawaii, Dr. Arthur Dean, continued Ball's research without giving her the credit for the discovery. Now, let's take a second for that, okay? This happens all the time. It's still happening today. Thankfully, now we're starting to go ahead and get the recognition that we deserve for the work that we've put in. Now, unfortunately, it took years for that to happen. He continued this method without her and took credit for her discovery. Dean even claimed her discovery for himself, calling it the Dean method. Unfortunately, it was commonplace for men to take the credit of women's discoveries, and Alice fell victim to this practice. It would take years for this to start to become a difference. Now, in 1922, 6 years after her death, Dr. Harry T. Holman, the assistant surgeon at Kalihihi Hospital, who originally encouraged Ball to explore Talmugra oil, published a paper giving Ball the proper credit she deserved. Even so, she remained largely forgotten from scientific history until recently. Now, in 2000, the University of Hawaii Manoa placed a bronze plaque in front of a Chalmugra tree on campus to honor Ball's life and her important history and her important discovery. Now, former Lieutenant Governor of Hawaii, Mazie Hirono, also declared February 29th Alice Ball Day. Now, in 2007, the University of Hawaii posthumously awarded her with the Regent's Medal of Distinction. That's amazing. Sorry, what that means is she's finally getting the recognition that she deserved. Now. In 2000, she gets this. In 2007, she gets her award. She's finally getting this recognition. This is amazing news. But it's barely now. In 2017, Paul Wermager, a scholar who has been researching, publishing, and lecturing about Alice Ball for years at the University of Hawaii Manoa, established the Alice Augusta Ball Endowed Scholarship to support students in the College of Natural Sciences pursuing a degree in chemistry, biology, or microbiology. Acknowledging the importance of her work through this scholarship, he stated, "Not only did she overcome the racial and gender barriers of her time to become one of the very few African American women to earn a master's degree in chemistry, but also she developed the first useful treatment for Hansen's disease." Again, this is leprosy. Her amazing life was cut too short at the age of 24. Who knows what other marvelous work she could have accomplished had she lived. That's crazy. She was an amazing woman for the short amount of time that she was here on earth. And she inspires me just from her life, as do every woman who has ever tried to do anything. So please, please, please let us go ahead and congratulate and welcome Alice Ball to the most influential woman of science. She has inspired and she will continue inspiring us all. May she rest in peace. May you all get inspired to go ahead and do something amazing today, tomorrow, and the next day. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.